Hello again, everybody, and welcome to this edition of Cogeco North Bay News, truly local television. I'm Greg Estabrooks. Well, Mayor Al MacDonald says he and top city officials will meet to talk about a very low rating from the Canadian Federation of Independent Business, which handed out a survey last week. It was in regards to the city's business friendliness, and North Bay scored second last out of the 121 cities surveyed. And indeed, that report did come out last week and created quite a buzz in political and business sectors. We'll hear about that and more. Council talk about trimming the council size from 10 to 8.
The first part of the meeting is budget consultations, or the ability to present on the budget. Two of the big items that are on the committee agenda, one is pay increases for council members, and the second one is to reduce the actual number of councillors from 10 down to 8, plus the mayor, so they would make a total of 9 versus 11.
And you said in the past you think this is a good idea.
Yeah, I like the idea of reducing the council down to 9. There is some cost savings, although it's not a lot. It's about 43 to 45,000. But I think we can be a little bit more efficient when we run the city. There would be increased workload. There's no question, because I know everybody's busy as it is. But I kind of like the idea of having 9 versus 11. And if you look at comparables to other cities, we actually have 2 more than most of the communities basically our size.
Now, finally, I wanted to ask a bit of a follow-up to the survey that came out from the Canadian Federation of Independent Business, which rated North Bay 120 out of 121. I mean, you're a businessman. You've been a businessman since the 80s. When a number like that comes out, don't you feel obligated, or do you feel obligated in some way, to sit down with senior staff and the economic development people and say, how did they come to these conclusions?
Yeah, we're doing that actually. As soon as I saw the study last week, I'd asked our staff at Economic Development to go through what the criteria is and what all the questions were. So I know that we were rated 120, but if you look at one of the policy things where municipal governments have a lot of play, we were actually near the top of that specific section, but when it came to other sections, we were a little lower. So I always look at it going, okay, what do we need to make changes so that we can be up near the top? I firmly believe that we should always be number 1 or strive to be number 1. But I can tell you, as a business owner in the city for 30 years, I've found the city very easy to deal with. I never had really any barriers when I was in business as an entrepreneur. I found our city supported local businesses. Not to say that business is easy, because business is very difficult, but that's why I fundamentally disagree with the findings. Not to say that we can improve in different areas, because absolutely we can. But I like the entrepreneurial spirit that we have in the city of North Bay, and one of our strengths is our diversified economy.
And yet that score comes out. So when you hear about something like that, what do you think about maybe looking at things differently, or would you ever consider contacting the CFIB and ask them how they came about that number?
Well, we look at the criteria, and as I mentioned, I wanted to get the staff to look at it. Also, we're going to bring it to Invest North Bay. I've asked the Chamber to look at it as well. What we need to do is all work together to say, okay, if we don't score well here, what do we need to do to be able to score even higher? So those are the steps that we need to take. So one, we don't like the fact that we were rated at that level. But what do we need to do to move up the ladder so that we are seen in a very positive light when it comes to entrepreneurial energy that we have in our city?